Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast series where we're talking solutions and edge AI. I'm joined today by Joe and David. Guys, why don't you welcome everyone and tell us who you are, what you do, where you're from, all the good things.
Great. Happy to be sitting here with you today, Johanny. My name is David Harris. I am the director of Lenovo OEM Portfolio and Solutions team.
Thanks for having me, Johanny. I'm Joe Looby. I work as part of the Edge ecosystem enabling team at Intel. Obviously, we know each other because we've been working very closely over the last number of months.
So it's amazing how that works, right? We didn't know each other. And then very fast, we had to get something off the ground. So that's exciting.
Exactly. And I think that's what's going to help us to be really successful as we go to the next stage of some of these programs and bring additional partners into the collaboration, because they'll be able to see how we're working together at this stage, and hopefully that'll speed up their trust to get solutions to market.
And that's a great intro, right? What are we talking about today? We've been doing a series of podcasts. What we want to focus on now is, there's an ecosystem of partnerships that brings everything to life in terms of powered solutions, different deployments in different verticals. And Lenovo is one piece of it. Intel is another piece of it. And then we know that there's key ISVs that make up another piece of that. Then ultimately, the formula to success is a multitude of partnerships. So tell me a little bit about, David, what do you do at Lenovo on the OEM team that kind of fosters the ability for us to work with partners and get to market and go to market together with them?
I love this question. I get it a lot from people that are looking to work with us, right? So my team works with several players to actually bring a solution together. So we obviously work with any and all of our partners inside of Lenovo, right? Our business units that have Lenovo products. So we focus there. We also focus on other hardware partners that help us bring things to market that maybe we wouldn't do inside of Lenovo. And in addition to that, we work with software partners. We've got a special program called Crosswave specifically for solution-oriented partners that we work with, right? And then aside from that, services as well to kind of go with the entire ecosystem of parts and players. So it's really, really exciting to be able to do something a little bit disruptive in the market where we stay focused on what we're good at, and we try to find the best in market of those partners who are very good at what they do.
Yeah, and I think it's a little interesting, right? Or maybe even a little deceptive, because Lenovo is a hardware company, but we are partnering with other hardware companies as well.
Yes.
And so that really creates that go-to-market strategy, right? Like, how do we go to market with these partners?
Right.
So Joe, tell me a little bit about the Intel side and the get-to-market piece. How do we prepare our customers when we're saying, we have an ecosystem of partners and we're going to help you build your solutions? What is the get-to-market piece that Intel brings to the table? How does that help?
I like to use this phrase, right? Okay, 2 ears and 1 mouth, and should be used in that proportion.
That's great.
The first thing you've got to do is you've got to sit down and you've got to try and have the conversation where you understand a lot more about their business. Because we know these verticals, they're so wide. And there's so many parts that make a successful business. We can never be experts in all of them. But what we can do is listen, try and understand key pain points, and then try and match that with either capabilities that we together can bring or capabilities that we need to go build. And, and then communicate constantly through that process. And as we were saying, bring that partner, and maybe it's not a 3, 4, sometimes it's 5, 6, 7 partners that have to work together to solve one of the very complex issues that the end customers need to bring value in their business.
I think it's really interesting that you said the same thing that I know Johanny and I, working at Lenovo, have experienced on this team for quite some time, right? We don't lead with a product, right? We really want to understand what is it that we're all trying to collectively do together, and then we go figure out what makes sense for the customer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's an important piece of preparing what we would call like a solutions-focused initiative to help customers. I think customers are always coming to us with a lot of problems. problems, right? But never an idea of how to fix it, more of, I just have to fix it. So in order for us to prepare better, right, we gotta kind of go back and look at our toolkit and see, what do we have in here?
But I think that's where the references really help. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes for them to try and even conceptualize or where to even begin the conversation where we can listen to them, right? We have to say, well, here's a reference that, we did in, I don't know, retail, in manufacturing, whatever it is. And here's how we see that. Let's talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
How does that look like something you might like to achieve? Right.
Yeah. And with those references, we almost don't even need to talk about the actual customer themselves, because a use case reference can possibly even go across industry or across vertical, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So that's really awesome.
And actually, it's really, one of the things I find really cool is when it actually sparks innovation in another vertical.
Yeah.
So you're talking with somebody, I don't know, who does a particular function, I don't know, in let's say retail, because it's very fast moving, right? And then in that conversation, they go, oh, wow, that looks like a lot like a problem we were talking about last week for a medical device company, right? Who was also trying to, potentially deploy AI at the edge. Let's bring the two things together, and a small bit of additional innovation, right, can actually produce something with solutions. So, but again, just like we're doing here, these things happen through conversation, listening, and deep understanding. That's what I suppose, the partnership and having open partnerships that you can invite others into.
Yeah, of course. I always like the concept of treating our customers as partners as well, right? And I think we always work with different stakeholders. We have internal stakeholders, we have sellers, et cetera. But what is your opinion about treating the customer in this journey as a partner, and then how to help them understand that, yes, we're working together in this partnership, and then you obviously have an opportunity to raise anything that we need to add in terms of capabilities, but giving them that space to be able to say, we're also kind of doing this together, right? Or navigating it together. What's your opinion, David, about treating a customer as a partner?
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about in OEM, right, is becoming a trusted advisor to our customer, right? So in that case, we're not just a supplier, we are in this together, right? And what we have on the shelf today, as a supplier might view it, may not be the right solution, right? And maybe it's something just a little bit different. Maybe it's something a lot different.
Right.
Maybe it's completely custom. Maybe it's slightly customized. But let's get to a place where we understand what it is we want to do together. Again, not necessarily here's what we have, take it or leave it. But what do we need to do together to make sure that you're ultimately successful, which means we will all ultimately be successful.
Exactly.
And I know Intel does a really fantastic job of kind of structuring different partnership elements and programs.
Yeah.
Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about what those programs look like and what benefits do those programs provide to our partners?
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a multitude, but I'm going to focus in on a couple here. So one of the ones is the AI systems, right? And all of our edge ecosystem enabling programs, right? So essentially they bring three things, right? So you have software, which enables customers to, through open source tools, see the power of what's possible. Then, that then follows through to the suites of software, which are more vertical. So it kind of says, okay, you're in retail, you're in manufacturing, you're in smart cities, metro type things, and you can then run those applications and start to see what possible impact they could have in your business.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's where we often start with customers, again, through listening before we'd ever introduce them. What are you trying to achieve? Or what are the problems you have? Tell me more about those. How would you measure that if it was to be successful? Right. And then work back from there. Right. And that's how I think really you can kind of build trust by really genuinely wanting to understand more about how they want to grow their business or how they want to solve problems that they have today in their business.
That's right. And David, how is Lenovo leveraging these AI suites that Intel is providing? Like, what are we doing from the portfolio side to be a part of that?
One of the good things that we do is, right, we listen to not only our customers and what they're looking for. Certainly, being able to understand what it is that Intel can help us with also helps us with product creation as well, right? So what can we bring to the market? What are the things that we do very well that we can leverage Intel's benchmarking and other things, right? As we look at solving customer needs, it's really, really beneficial when we can kind of go generation over generation, our performance improvements from a product perspective, how we're kind of leapfrogging what's available today so that people can actually develop based on their creative thinking, the ideas that are possible.
Yeah. And I sorry to cut across, but to add to that, David, right? So when you get to that point where you're understanding what they want to achieve, right, and you're getting more towards okay, how can we deploy this? To be able to confidently say, we've done all that work, and using these tools, we can properly dimension for you to say, okay, you believe you need to support 25 camera streams. Right, we confidently can say for that workload, or Vision AI, these units will give you 20% headroom to grow, but they're also quite modular, so very easy to add to if you go beyond that. Right, and because we've done all the work together, and with partners, ISV, real world partners, in the production software, we can confidently stand over those statements and the dimensioning, and I think that gives the customer great confidence that what we're providing is really focused on getting the results and into the ROI that they've made in technology in their business.
Well, and it shifts our approach from a go-to-market, let's go kind of figure it out after it gets deployed, to more of we have a turnkey solution here. It's ready. We've tested it. Maybe a few tweaks and modifications because maybe your software platform requires something else. But for the most part, getting those results and being able to show them, ultimately you'll get to this level, right? Because the benchmark is there.
Right. Yeah, it is really, really interesting working with how closely we've been working with Intel, right? Getting to various points with these products and portfolios as we go out and make an offering available for all types of ISVs and partners.
And the interaction between, because obviously we have ISV programs, but the interaction bringing that ISV program together with the Crosswave ISV program, right? And so they're like, okay, have you worked? Yeah, we've worked with them, but have you worked with these guys? Oh no, we haven't worked with them. They might be good because they add this functionality, which maybe the other ISV wasn't able to offer, right? And suddenly you're just growing the breadth of technology enabling partners who are able to use our hardware platforms combined with their software to actually change businesses. And it's really cool to be able to do it so quickly because, again, we know in our ISV thing, if they've worked with you in Crosswave, this is going to be a good fit, right? This is going to be a good fit. It's going to work and it's going to be quick. We have confidence in your vetting. Similarly, if we say to you, hey, we've worked with X and they're not in your program yet, but we think you should look at them, okay, this makes sense.
It's one of the most fulfilling things, right? When a partner comes to you and says, I've been struggling trying to make this happen. And we say, hey, we've worked together and we believe this is the right solution for you. Give it a try. And they are minds blown, right? This is perfect.
They're
This
like,
is
this works really well.
And the speed. Right. They go, wow, when we heard we were deploying new tech in X, we were worried, but it just kind of came and largely worked.
It works because you guys have done some of the pre-work. Let's take a few layers back, right? We've talked a lot about ISVs and verticals and how it's important for us to have this ecosystem of partners. But let's say there's an ISV out there watching this podcast, right? How do they engage? So, David, from a Crosswave perspective, what are some of the ways that a brand new ISV is listening and really interested about this, this solution framework? How do they learn about Crosswave, become a part of it? And then, Joe, for you, the same question when David's done is, how do they become a part of the Intel ISV network?
We have several processes, right, to help onboard and evaluate what would be really, really good fit for not only us, but for the ISV partner as well, right? Certainly having conversations with our teams about what it is they're trying to do, what their goals are, kind of what verticals are we focused on, what verticals are they focused on. We have this tremendous tool called an innovation forum where we actually bring customers, partners, some of our team together that are actually out in the field looking at different customers who are looking for solutions. We bring them together in really intimate settings, right? Less than 100 people, a couple times a year in each region of the world, and allow them to experience what it's like to be in a collaborative 2-day event like that. So that's a really, really good start for them to get to know Lenovo, some of our other partners, hardware, software services. And so those are the type of things to kind of look out for, certainly as you're looking at being a part of the Lenovo ecosystem that is also supported by Intel.
That's great. What about you, Joe, at Intel?
So one of the first ones is work with David on Crosswave, and he's going to tell you, he's going to be, this is really good. Because that's one of the things I wanted to really highlight is that you can double dip here. You can be a partner of Crosswave and be very successful in that program, and you can equally be a partner with us at the very same time. And again, make yourself open to even further scale.
And that's the ideal scenario, right? Yes. Because now we're talking about an exponential list of resources available to that ISV.
That's right.
That's
right.
And many of the supports, we may, we absolutely offer the events, the introductions, trade show support, references and one-pagers and marketing collateral support for all those type of things as well. And I mean, how you access that is, you can, intel.com. Right. And go to our Edge Solutions page. And there are many ways that you can start an interaction there. If you already have a relationship, through one of our partner alliances or something like that, please come to us that way. I mean, we're not going to limit, right? Like literally come up, grab somebody from Intel and we'll find a way. Yep.
And I assume these ISVs get classified by vertical expertise, right? Especially talking about these different AI suites. Are there other types of classification? Like, for example, if they service small, medium business customers only, or they're enterprise focused, are those other types of criteria you guys look at?
I will tell you that we do have a relationship classification inside of Crosswave, which is really, really good, right? Because not one size doesn't fit all, right? So upon kind of figuring out that Lenovo's a right partner and the ISV's a right partner for Lenovo, we may bring them in at bronze, right? We start with the bronze category. And this is kind of, let's go sell in the channel together and let's see if this makes sense, right? Build a pipeline together. And then potentially we move to a silver category, which is a little bit closer relationship. Different kind of agreement, but actually our sellers can actually sell their software on our paper, right? There's more incentive for our sellers to make sure that these ISV partners are brought in in the right situations, right? And then beyond that, the highest tier is gold. And again, that's kind of embedded from the factory on Lenovo devices, right? Which is kind of the closest relationship you could have with a Crosswave ISV partner in Lenovo hardware.
And again, we have absolutely tiers within the programs, right? But I suppose the first thing is to get in touch, right?
Yes.
Because the people we want to hear are probably
your rep.
who aren't in. And that starting point for us is often something like an OpenVINO enabling, right? So OpenVINO is our piece of software which powers the ecosystem and makes sure that anybody landing on any of the Lenovo Intel platforms are going to get highly optimized performance from when the container drops, right? It's there, right? So that is critical. And what we can do is either they come through you guys and Crosswave or they come directly. We have supports to, if they haven't natively developed towards OpenVINO, that we can help them port to that. And that technical support is something people really value because they're a little bit afraid. They're like, this is going to be big and it's going to take a long time. Well, first of all, we've done loads of them in every vertical. Okay. So, there's very little we haven't come across. And secondly, as we've learned, we've been able to optimize that process so that the investment in getting that to be, I suppose, from concept to reality is much less than it would have been, a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, investment is a really important part, right? Because you're thinking about all these pieces and parts, and we're trying to be efficient on cost, right? We want to make sure that that testing and validating process is also reducing costs for our customers. So that's a really good point for you to bring that up. So we're going to wrap up here, but just, a couple comments, if you guys could just give me an idea, what's your advice to our customers that are exploring working with Intel, working with Lenovo, leveraging our ThinkEdge portfolio? David, what advice would you give our customers on how to better serve their purpose with our ecosystem?
Yeah, I would say maybe not a bit of advice, but maybe a look into the way our OEM team, our Lenovo OEM Solutions team, views what we bring to this to this market. Right? We always start with kind of why is this important for the customer, right? Which puts us on the same page as the customer, right? We're only trying to make sure that they're successful with whatever their targets are, right? So that is how our particular organization kind of reframes what it is we're doing to help people, right? We're in a solution-oriented mode. We want to understand your why, and then make sure that we're participating and working with you in that vein.
Like that very much. Thanks, David. What about you, Joe?
For me, it starts with it's okay to not know what you want, because
I like that.
You don't have to be the expert. You're the expert in your business, right? And we've invested a lot of time and effort and money to be able to provide you with options. And to do that, it starts with a conversation, right? Yep. And too many people don't have to go, I don't know what I would say. I don't know how I would, say, I don't know much about AI, right? Or, I don't know how to dip my toe. That's okay.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, we get to have conversations with lots of customers, lots of solution providers in the ISV space, our own conversations regarding the hardware provision and what's going to be optimal there. So between all of that, right, it's okay. Come, have a conversation, tell us what you think, and then we can respond, right? But if the conversation doesn't start,
that's right.
It just stays as I wonder what we will do about it might even get scarier, right?
Yes.
It's, are people getting ahead of me? Are my competitors having that conversation? Are they doing that? Maybe they are, right?
They probably are. Right?
And hopefully they're doing it with us, because we then get to leverage that to lift the ecosystem.
That's exactly right.
So thank you both so much. I think some really key points, right, about leveraging an ecosystem, really looking at your partnership opportunities. Don't be afraid of asking questions, because we're all navigating, especially the edge AI space together. And that Intel and Lenovo have done a ton of investment in making sure that our customers are ready with the right tools, but also with some turnkey solutions.
Exactly.
So, thanks, everyone. Talk soon.
Thanks, Johanny.
Thank you, Johanny.
Lenovo.